Long before we were colleagues here at GB News, Darren Grimes and I headed up the Defund the BBC campaign. Gone are the days when they produced timeless, informative content like Get Kenneth Clarke's Civilization and John Betjeman's A Passion for Churches. These days, it seems they want to spend the entire time lecturing us plebs on how to live our lives, as they sneer down their noses at us from their metropolitan elite bubble. Even the so-called entertainment shows and drama shows are full of social justice warrior nonsense. There's nothing more distracting than trying to watch a television programme and noticing a pause in the script where the writers choose to lecture us on BLM, the climate agenda, COVID vaccines or trans issues. The blatant bias is infuriating. And then there's the bloat. It's a huge waste of licence fee payers' money splashing out millions of pounds on woke celebrities and the bloated salaries of BBC fat cats. It's a shame because the BBC used to mean something. It used to be a soft power of the British Empire. It was respected for journalistic standards all around the world. But now it's nothing more than a monopoly, strangling independent radio and podcasters. The licence fee is outdated as a business model. If the BBC believes its content lives up to the standards of 2023, they should open it up to the free market. Allow people to opt in, to subscribe to the BBC if they wish to watch BBC content. They should stop forcing people to pay for the BBC, even if they never want to watch it. As it stands, to watch GB News, you have to pay a licence fee to the BBC. Why? That's not a licence, that's a tax. How many scandals does the BBC have to face before politicians ask the question about defunding the BBC and finally cutting that TV tax? The latest scandal involving a certain newsreader seems to have been covered up by the BBC execs for 7 weeks, which comes as no surprise given the BBC's history of covering up scandals, from Jimmy Savile to Martin Bashir. But what is interesting in the reactions to the Beeb's latest transgression is that the metropolitan liberal elite are trying to paint the Hugh Edwards scenario off as homophobic, as if to imply the reason people are unhappy with his actions depends entirely upon the sex of the young persons he was chasing after. What a patronising view of the British public. Surely we were disappointed in Hugh because he has a wife and kids and he's let down his family and he's dropped the standards expected of any man, not to mention a figure in the public eye. Societal standards are important. His sexuality is neither here nor there. And frankly, it's being used as an excuse, just as it was with Philip Schofield. No one really cares if you're gay or straight in 2023. What people care about is if you're in your 60s and you're grooming teenagers whilst cheating on your wife and neglecting your children. That said, the pile-on has been horrible to witness, and I do not want to add to it. I put a lot of this blame on the BBC for being a corrupt organisation which encourages such behaviour. When it comes to Mr. Edwards himself, I would say it's time to give his family some privacy to heal and give him an opportunity to repent. Many commentators have been pretending his actions were okay because no laws were broken. We do not hold morality to the low expectations of the law of man, but to the law of God. Adultery is immoral and his actions were wrong. That has to be said. But now we give him a chance to repent of his sins and seek forgiveness. We are not his judge. He will face his judge one day, as we all will. But there is still time to put things right. In the meantime, I spare a prayer for the let-down wife and children in the hopes that the family can find a way to mend as one. And let's call for the BBC to take an introspective moment to address why they keep bouncing from one scandal to the next, with next to no accountability. What is going on over there?